Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Slatton in New Hope. Here's a look at a few of the stories making the news today.
As the COVID-19 pandemic surges to new record case levels, health experts say mental and emotional health issues have spiked.
Just our world right now, it's really unpredictable and really stressful in terms of economy as well. So there's just people's abilities to cope and manage those things have been really pushed.
Terry Clayton with Headway Emotional Health Services in Brooklyn Center says more families are identifying stress related to the pandemic.
When you think about anxiety disorders and whatnot, that's all about how out of control do I feel? And so much is not within our power right now that I think there's a lot of mental health issues arising as a result of that.
Headway is a therapy nonprofit that serves mental and emotional health needs. With mental health care in demand, Headway has tripled its capability at its new Brooklyn Center location.
We have a bunch of outpatient services. We have day treatment services for middle school to high school age children, as well as psych services, testing and assessment.
Clayton says clients also have the option to move their in-person appointments to telehealth.
We're kind of doing a hybrid model. We're just very client focused. So right now, if a client calls and wants to be seen in person, we find a way to see them in person.
Headway makes mental health care easy to access by working with every insurance provider. The nonprofit also operates in dozens of schools.
Depression significantly increases without the use of, effective coping skills.
Clayton encourages those in need to reach out, especially during these times of uncertainty.
So at least you have your essential workers that are going to be there for you, and you can reach out to them and have somebody as a support system.
In Brooklyn Center, Pafua Yang, CCX News.
It's a school day at Fourth Baptist Christian School in Plymouth, but there's something missing.
We have been able, by the grace of God, to be open for 9 weeks. So we've had 9 weeks of in-person school.
Until last week,
where we had a couple of people who had tested positive for COVID, had been around some larger of our numbers of students, and we just made a decision, you know what, because of the potential spread, we just need to shut down for a couple weeks.
But this didn't really catch Fourth Baptist off guard. It was something they had been anticipating and preparing for all summer.
Now, we had already prepared schedules, the alternative program, all the computer stuff has been prepared all summer long and into the school year, so that was all set to go.
Fourth Baptist decided that in-person learning was optimal to begin the school year, and they had well thought out protocols in place,
including one-way flow of traffic like you're at the grocery store, and extra cleaning protocols
like periodic disinfecting of all surfaces, using this airless handheld battery-operated disinfectant sprayer.
Can you let it sit for 10 minutes?
They installed these nanoseptic self-cleaning surface touch pads on all door pulls and pushes. The pads trap and keep organic contaminants and then destroy bacteria by oxidation.
Probably the toughest one was to say that everyone first grade and above had to wear a mask.
Part of their planning was taking into account how to carry on education if they had to go entirely virtual.
We also came up with a classroom setup for each classroom.
The cameras and computers, donated in large part by families, were set up over the summer, and staff was trained in on how to use the technology.
We tried to cover every option to continue the process of education.
Fourth Baptist had a solid plan in place at the beginning of the school year to cover any eventuality. Hodak credits the parents' communication with the school in helping the seamless transition to temporary virtual learning.
You've got people that want and choose this school, and they're paying for it, and so they recognize the value of it, and they're much more responsive and committed to what you're trying to accomplish.
Fourth Baptist hopes to resume in-person school on the 16th. In Plymouth, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Hi, I'm Delane Cleveland in Osseo, where a longtime member of the Osseo Fire Department is calling it quits after 37 years of service.
People say, it's time, and it's been time. So after 37 years in the fire service, I think it's time. We've got a good core group of young firefighters coming up.
Gary Current started his career with the Osseo Fire Department back in 1983. From there, he worked his way up the ranks, serving as lieutenant, then becoming chief in 1996. He served in that role for 13 years, retired for 10 months.
I missed it.
Then had a change of heart and came back to the department as a regular firefighter.
Yep, less headaches.
But despite all of his career accomplishments and the service he dedicated to his hometown, there was one moment that stands out the most.
We'll have Brendan's father, Gary, pin his badge on tonight.
I got to pin his badge on. That's probably the proudest moment. And my wife asked my son, why did you want to be a police officer? And his comment was, to do something meaningful with my life. I thought that was probably one of the best comments anybody could ever make. And that, looking back, that's probably why I got in the fire service.
As for what he's going to do next, Current simply said that he's going to relax, beginning first with a hunting trip to Montana. In Osseo, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.